Now, Lloyds Banking Group has reported a 20% drop in profits, hit by the amount it is earmarked for remediation related to an investigation into the mis-selling of car finance. Lloyds has already set aside £450 million to cover the car finance costs, but has announced an additional £700 million. It follows a court ruling that paying a commission to car dealers who had arranged loans without disclosing the amount or terms to the borrowers was unlawful. Well, let's speak to Sam Ward, Legal Director at the law firm Sentinel, who is with us. Sam, very good afternoon to you. Just before we get into the exposure that Lloyds might well have, just talk us through what is at the heart of this. I tried to explain it there. This is about mis-selling, really, fundamentally, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's about when you go into a car dealership, you expect the car dealer to be earning the bulk of their money from the sale of the car and not actually from selling the car finance, which is actually transpired has been the case.
And this has made a lot of people money, hasn't it? But it's been ruled unlawful. And so essentially, people are looking for money back. They're looking for compensation.
Yeah, absolutely. In October 2024, the Court of Appeal came out and unanimously decided with the car finance claimants and awarded compensation to those claimants. So that set a bit of a landmark judgment now for everyone. The FCA came out and said there's 31.7 million car finance agreements out there since 2007, and 99% of them are actually affected by this.
And in part, Lloyds is exposed to this, isn't it? Because actually, not just the bank, because we're talking about the group here, but also it has got a kind of car finance arm, if you like, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So Lloyds Bank own Blackhorse, which is one of the biggest car finance lenders on the market. Now, Lloyds are the first to break 1 billion that has been set aside for compensation. But we've also had, in the last couple of weeks, Santander have come out and announced 295 million. Close Brothers are up to 165 million that they've set aside. And Barclays have set aside, which is Clydesdale Financial Services, £90 million. And this is just the tip of the iceberg, Darren. We've got a lot of evidence here that we've done over the years in the courts that suggests that this could go as high as 100 billion when it's all done.
And this has been compared, isn't it, to their kind of personal protection kind of scandal, if you like, that we saw a couple of years ago that cost a hell of a lot of money. You seem to be suggesting that this could get a lot bigger.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you look at a car, it's the second biggest purchase that most people make behind their house. It's a significant part of their life. They rely on it to get to work. They rely on it to go to shopping at supermarket. It's huge. And when you look at the car finance market, the vast majority of people that we're seeing have actually got about 2 to 3 cars that are eligible for a claim. So in regards to PPI, that was 53 billion was paid out, and it was actually credited with contributing around 3% to the GDP. We think that car finance could double that, and it'll be interesting to see what happens in April when this will be ultimately decided by the Supreme Court.
Yeah, and just finally on that, you know, some analysts are saying for Lloyds alone it could be 4 billion. You're leading into much higher numbers. For people watching who may have got caught up in this, when are they likely to see some money?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think everything's going to happen on April 1st, 2nd and 3rd in the Supreme Court, depending on if the Supreme Court follows the suit of the Court of Appeal, which was a unanimous decision. It'll be then up to the FCA to implement some form of redress scheme, and then clients can start to submit complaints. We're already accepting complaints, and we have done for the last 3 years. So it's a really interesting time, and I think I would advise anyone to get their complaint or claim in as soon as possible.
OK, Sam, really interesting stuff. Again, another story we need to keep across with that judgment in April. Sam Ward there. Thank you.